greatest show in fantasy football history, hosted by the incomparable Scott Connor and the one and only Ray GQ, I present to you Destination Chill, where football and fantasy collide.
G-E-G-P, what's cracking, y'all? It is Sunday, June 9th, 2024. This is Destination Chill. Y'all are joined by yours truly, Ray G. You can get at me on X at Ray GQ, and I'm here another Sunday with my brother from another mother. Y'all know who it is, Scott Connor at Charles Chill FFB. That's right, Wyatt. GGP was popping with y'all tonight. Y'all know what it is. Good people. Scott, you got some love in the building early. P.E. Nino 13 says, Scott, my friends and I talked and concluded that you are the GOAT when it comes to Dynasty Fantasy Football. I may agree. He's all right. Don't blow his head up too much. He's all right, man. But we appreciate y'all being in the game building. We got Underdog. We got to talk through Underdog. Justin Jefferson got a deal. Probably not going to get into a ton of that tonight, but y'all know. Use the promo code ALLGAS. You get $250. If you do some stuff, you get up to $250. Make sure you do that. And we got a real dope show, man. We got a real dope show in the morning. Jordan Richards is back. Jay Rich is back, man. Jay Rich is back from his escapade in London, England, wherever he was. And we got a fun game in the morning. Think you know ball? Underdog Fantasy's putting it on with us. We are going to do a little jet party, little Geo party. Scott Connor, I already stumped him earlier with one of the questions that I have for y'all tomorrow. So make sure you tap in tomorrow morning. Show is dropping 30 minutes earlier. I got to drop some people off. I got to go to work, do some other stuff. So 7:30 in the morning. Be there. 7:30 my time. So that's like 8:30 Eastern. We're going live. Think you know ball. Got a good show. But Scott, what's happening with you, baby? Drafts, Bestball Mania, Palm, Puppy, Poodle, Mastiff, all kinds of shit, man. How's it going, baby?
It's going well. It's been a fun summer thus far. Just knocking out as much Underdog as possible. I mean, it's every friggin' 2-3 days there's a new tournament, and it's what's the entry fee? How many can I enter? How quick is it going to fill? It's been a blast in the Discord, I got to say. Our community has really embraced Underdog, the theory. I mean, I'm not shocked given how hard we've dove into it this year, but it's been fun. It's been fun dissecting the different strategies. That's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight, but I'm good to go. This is the doldrums. This is the dead period. I actually made 6 dynasty trades this week, Ray.
Let's go.
And it's leading into, I won't spill it till the end, but it's leading into the next couple of episodes of Destination Dynasty, which are going to be back to the grind of just strategy, trying to really get an edge on, I think, a stale dynasty game. We talked about a lot of it last week on Destination Chill. If you haven't checked that episode out, a lot of these Underdog drafts, I mean, I'm not even recommending people go back and watch our BBM draft from a month ago. Right, but I think last week's Dynasty show is kind of evergreen, right? Like, you could probably listen to that in a month
check that
and kind of get something from it. But, I was inspired by that show and then this pod that I did with the incomparable guest that will be making his name on DD the first time ever. But, man, inspired to make some dynasty trades, but I'm ready to finally beat you in a Bestball Mania draft. I'm pretty sure the people have said you've beaten me in the first 2, so let's go.
That's what they said, man. That's what they said. Scott, how you want to do this? I know you want to talk about a couple of things. You want to get into a couple of little strategies, some strategic things. There's some single entry tournaments out there. I know a lot of people are excited about those because everybody doesn't have, $2,700 to shell out or whatever it costs to max enter BBM or some of these tournaments. But these single entry tournaments, man, they're unique. They're kind of cool. There's golden. What's this philosophy or strategy you want to deploy in those single entry tournaments, and how have you felt that those have gone for you so far? Because I'll be honest with you, man, I've done the few that I've done have not gone well, man. They have not gone well. The room was difficult. I tried to do some creative things early, and it was just difficult to get correlation. It was different. It was just, they weren't good. Like, just being real. Like, I got to the end of them, and I was like, I'm not really feeling this roster. We'll see what it looks like at the end of the season. But, man, you've got to have correlation and something like that. And the few that I've done, they just didn't work out well for me, man.
Yeah, I think with the single entries, so for everybody, the single entries are you can only enter one time. There's nobody out there with a bankroll that is entering 50 entries or 150 entries. And then we'll talk about in a second some of these limited entry pools. There's been the Poodle right now that's opened. You can only enter 20 times. It's $7. You can only enter 20 times. So I would recommend anybody that doesn't have the bankroll to max enter BBM, like max enter that. You're better off max entering that $140, and you can play a portfolio. You can practice a portfolio. You can practice doing 10 slow drafts at once. You can practice actually going through building 20 different teams. But back to your question with the single entry, I think if I could do it over, because I have one of the two that I've done thus far that was like what you were talking about, where I went in with a plan, and unfortunately, and if you have a dope community like we do, it's not a big deal to draft with other people because they're more likely to be like, hey, I got a plan, you got a plan. The goal isn't just to go rogue wild and take whatever. But if you get down the road where you're trying to build a stack or correlation and there's not a lot of players late that you can build on that, and you get a rogue drafter that just goes, I don't really have any Ravens or Texans, but I'll just take CJ Stroud at QB4. And you're just like, okay, cool. But it just ruined my plan. And now Lamar Jackson's already gone, Ray. And what do? I have these two Texans receivers. And what am I stacking with late? Rasheen Ali or Tez Walker. You know what I mean? Like, your
Rashadi
plan
B.
is ruined.
Shotty B.
So,
give me some of that Bateman,
here would be
baby.
my advice. You could go Bateman. You could go Likely. But the point is, here would be my advice. If you're going to do a single entry, I think correlation's important. I think maybe opt early in the draft for some tiebreakers, which players you know have multiple outs. Right? You know the stacks where if you go A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, you know there's like 3 other options. You either get them or you don't. And you don't want to draft them way ahead of ADP because you know everybody else is going to have similar stacks. At the same time, if you get sniped on Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott or Jake Ferguson or Dallas Goedert or whatever, you feel like you have a dead team like Ray has thus far. So that would be my advice, is to maybe opt for, hey, I'll go DJ Moore instead of Devontae Smith because there's a lot more outs. You know what I mean? There's a lot more options I can build with DJ Moore versus that. And yeah, anybody that has not done that, I would consider picking one of these smaller tournaments, max entering that 20 entries, 25 entries, 50 entries. The Palm was 50 entries, $3. You can usually max enter one of these for $100 to $200 if you want to get into the portfolio game.
Well, Scott, check the messages on check the messages. I'm looking through the chat. There's a couple of chats. Let's do it right now. Let's go right now. Celtics, the Celtics game. All right, we're about to run this joint. We'll talk about all that other shit later, but we're about to run this. Bestball Mania, BBM. That's what we're going to do. So we have entered into it. Scott, you in the waiting room right now? We in the waiting room together?
We got one more to start. Is that you as well?
I'm in there. Yeah, one more to start. We should be in the same joint, man. So if we did it right. I was
one of these
nervous.
days we are going to go live, and we're not going to get in the same one.
I was already thinking about what do we do if we're not on the same one, but we don't have to worry about that tonight, baby.
GQ with the 101 and Charles Chill with the 107.
Okay, all right. Let me get there. Hold on, baby. Hold on. Where we at? Let me get there. Let me find it. You got your board pulled up? I'll pull your joint up right now while I'm trying to find mine.
I'm going to it right now.
All right, good. You're getting yours up. I'm trying to find where I'm at. I'm using Spike Week. Spike Week tool. Shout out to Spike Week, man. We are not affiliated with them in any way, but it's a dope tool, dope product. And yeah, I got the 101 in this one. Scott, I'm not going to be cute. I'm just going to tell you I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey, and then I'm probably not going to touch running back for a long time. That's probably what's going to happen right here. There's no need to get cute. I don't need to say anything crazy. That's just what's going to go down right now. So let's go ahead and get that up and running. And are we live? Are we off?
We have started right now. You are on the clock.
There it is. And Christian McCaffrey, come on down. CMC, come on down for you boys. So Christian McCaffrey, 101. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy there. CeeDee Lamb off the board. Where you at, 109?
107. So my strategy is probably going to be dictated based on if somebody goes a running back before me, because I would definitely like to go receiver.
Yes, you would.
But if they just get all ripped, then I'm probably going Bijan or Brees, which means I'm probably building a Well, you know what? If I go Bijan or Brees, I'm going to build a different team than Ray. I may go with a because here's the problem. If I go Bijan or Brees, then we're trying to build a similar team, right? If we go Hero RB,
Yeah.
we're kind of going for the same stuff. But
I mean, you might get Amon Ra that falls to you at the. Okay.
Nope.
No, you did not. You did not.
So it's a tough spot. The decision is, do I go running back early? I hate going running back early, but I also, if I go running back early, I'm probably just trying to hammer receiver, which I've done a million times. So I am going to lean.
Well, you're leaning. You got 9 seconds, so you better lean quick.
Yeah. We're going to go Bijan. We're going to go Bijan.
You want Bijan? All right.
Yep. But I'm going to try a different strategy. I'm not going to
Bijan.
chase Ray.
No, you can't do that. I mean, hell, I'm not chasing you. I'm not chasing you.
I'm not going.
You know,
I'm going to try not to take a receiver until this is going to be a 0 receiver.
You going
team.
A 0 receiver team with Bijan?
Yep.
Why?
Just
tell me why. Tell me why. When you're going to be staring down the barrel of Ayuk, Adams, maybe Olave.
Because I think I can work a Bijan, Saquon, Achan, maybe Kyron.
Okay.
Now that's praying that there's nobody else in this draft listening. But
well,
because you never know.
Clearly there are. I see Barry is in the building, so there are clearly people who are watching that are listening. So hey, that's part of the game, though, right? That's part of the game. When we're in these drafts, we see names that are familiar to us, and we're like, oh, we know what type of drafter that is, or we're trying to spot some of the common names that we see in some of these rooms. So let's see what's happening, man. Jahmyr Gibbs falls to the 112 spot. There was somebody that asked a question, how rare was a Jahmyr Gibbs, the build? I was trying to look it up on Spike Week, but it was like a Jahmyr Gibbs, Garrett Wilson build. How rare is that?
I don't know if that's that rare because Gibbs
yeah,
is
same.
Yeah, I think if you wanted that, you could get that. I have a problem that when I rarely, if I'm at the 11 or 12 spot, I really struggle to go RB receiver.
Okay.
I usually double tap or I double tap running back or double tap receiver, but I rarely go Jahmyr Gibbs, Drake London. You know what I mean? It feels like you're just hedging, and I'm liking how this is going, though.
Yeah,
I'm going Saquon or Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
easy.
You're going to be in a nice spot.
That was the plan.
Yeah, you're in a nice spot to do that. I need some of these Mike Evans and Nikos to come off the board before I get up. So somebody said they don't like picking at the 101. They don't like picking at the 101. They don't like how the rest of their team turns out. We'll see. I think my shit will be all right. We'll see.
I mean, how about Deebo Samuel going at the 201, Ray? I mean, that's some conviction right there, isn't it?
Jay Smooth said he had to have him. Had to have him at the 2-1 spot.
Well, he went Gibbs, Jahmyr, so he's already setting up the the correlation there. Now this is where I got to use Spike Week
to see which one you've
got.
Yeah.
Barkley and Bijan. I already have 2 teams with Barkley or Bijan, so we're gonna lean Jonathan Taylor instead because I have one more with Barkley and Bijan. So let's let it rip, JT.
There you go.
All right. There
JT.
we go.
I got some CMC. Christian McCaffrey. Let me pull my board up, baby.
You can double tap. What's your plan? Assuming you're going receiver here, right? That's probably what you're targeting.
Probably.
Talk to everybody. Do you care about correlating these 2 receivers, or are you giving yourself
Nah, I'm good right now.
Well, and why is that? Because if you do non-correlated 2 picks here, it actually opens you up for different combos later, right?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Here's what I'm looking at right now. Some of the common stacks that people try to gravitate towards. You got the Miami Dolphins in Cleveland. You have, San Francisco, Detroit. Everybody wants to get a piece of that. I've been trying to target some of these other. Man, I'm taking Malik Neighbors. There's no doubt. I'm targeting this Giants matchup. Not a lot of people after Neighbors. There's not a lot of enthusiasm around the Giants, and there's some late guys that you can grab at the receiver position that will just allow me to backfill with some running backs a little earlier. So I'm gonna go Malik Neighbors right here. Not worried about
Pittman? There's rarely any Pittman Neighbors teams because they both go in the 3rd round.
They both go in the 3rd round, and that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to eliminate. Like I'm going Michael Pittman Jr. right here. Look at the dude.
I like that
the
because
Giants. It's the correlation.
rarely are they
there.
ever going to be on the same team because they go in the damn same round. So I love that, man.
There's the
That's
correlation. Set up nicely. So Neighbors and Michael Pittman Jr. off the board. You know,
well,
Danny
you know what
Dimes.
Else you did?
I don't know, but
you know what else? You know what else you did with that? That is a hard game to backstack, and you don't have to if you don't want to, right? Like
correct. I could be
you're
done.
good with that game now, and you can
done.
just focus on other shit.
I
you
could
do
be
not
done.
have to draft Jalen Hyatt or Darius Slayton
I do
or
not.
Evan Hall.
What about that Bellinger? Hey, man, Darren Waller retires. Shout out to Darren Waller. All right, you're up here in a couple of picks. You got Deluxe 7 with 2 receivers. Barry went Saquon and Jefferson. Saquads and Jefferson. He is on the board now. DJ Moore, Devontae Smith. Do I got your board pulled up or am I still on mine? I think I'm still on
go to mine because I'll show everybody
still
this.
On mine. Let's see.
I'll show everybody the spike week. So thus far in BBM, Ray, I have 5% Derrick Henry, right? But look, I have built other teams here with Derrick Henry and Bijan. You see that? 20% of my Bijans have Derrick Henry. 33% of my Jonathan Taylors have Derrick
Henry.
None of them have Kyron Williams. So we're taking freaking Kyron Williams.
Let's go. No slide. Now, something interesting happened right before you went. The QB cherry was popped by old Barry, and he takes Jalen Hurts over Josh Allen. I've been talking about this, Scott. People don't really want to hear Josh Allen off the board. What do you think about that decision to go Hurts over Allen? You know what he was doing, right? He's got Saquon Barkley. He's got Minnesota. But Jalen Hurts, the correlation there with Saquon. Do you like that with a running back who's such a prolific pass catcher and in an offense where if Saquon runs it down to the 2, is either him or Jalen Hurts rushing it in. They're not throwing the ball. They're not doing slot fades. It's tush push Jalen Hurts or Saquon hammer it in.
I think if you don't choose to stack the game anywhere else on the Philly side, which you're probably not going to because there's nobody else to do it with, like you're probably not drafting Dallas Goedert on the same team. At least I probably wouldn't. But I'd be interested in a Jake Ferguson or Brandon Cooks. You know what I mean?
Ferg, Cooks. Yep. One of those running backs. Take a shot.
Isn't that one of the few teams you would say you're interested in taking the running back and the quarterback on the same team just because they're – if they get close, the odds one of them's getting in is very high.
It's the football side. I looked at goal line pass attempts for the quarterback position in the NFL in 23, like minimum 200 attempts. Jalen Hurts was dead last. It was like 20-something percent. When they get down there, they're running the ball. He's either tush pushing it in or Saquon's going to get the ball. So Kelsey off the board, Henry, Flowers, Laporta. Seeing some tight ends go 3rd round, 4th round, Kelsey gone. Wonder if that team, I'm not going to talk about Mahomes, not going to say anything. Scott, you're about to be on the board. You're about to be on the clock. Let me get your board pulled back up. You've got 3 receivers, man. And like surprisingly, there's still receivers left. You got 3 running backs, and surprisingly, there's still receivers that I'm very much interested in. Where are you leaning right now?
So this has been a failure, a bunch of trying to get the Lamar Jackson Mark Andrews combo because inevitably just Andrews goes before you take Lamar. So I'm considering Lamar. The key is I want to be as strong as I can at quarterback and tight end in this league too, only because I am going to have to. This is a 10 receiver team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to get a little interesting and go Trey McBride.
You know that's my dude, man.
I'm going Trey McBride with the plan that I'm going to take Kyler Murray and set myself up to where it's a 2 QB, 2 tight end build, full stop.
Okay.
So I could have gone ETN. That I think would have been a little too extreme, don't you think? Going 4 right there. I mean,
there's no at that point you're just doing shit to do it. Like you don't got to lean in that far. You got 3 RB hammers. You don't particularly prefer to build that way. Don't push it further than it really needs to go. I'm about to be up. And here's what I'm thinking, man. You can see the spike week tool. If I zoom in, I've got 75% Richardson with Michael Pittman. So I'm making sure that I get Richardson with Michael Pittman and 20% with Malik Neighbors. I can take him here unless somebody else takes him. Or I can just chill and wait for Brock Purdy and get a little bit with Christian McCaffrey to try to kind of eat off of CMC and what he should do.
I mean, here's the problem. If you want Richardson, you got to take him. If it
I
was
gotta
another
take him.
quarterback, if it was another QB like a Burrow or a Dak, they might fall because no one else would be interested in them. But there are people.
Richardson to get
Shout
taken.
out to Josh. I see him in the chat. Josh is a guy. He'll just take a Richardson if he's there. He doesn't care if he has any correlation.
That's my guy. Yeah.
So if you want him, you got to snag him here.
But that's the thing. I'm thinking through this. Are there receivers here who are more valuable? And I'm just going to star him because I'm fine with him. But are there receivers here who should be prioritized more than Nate Rich? And then you backfill with Brock Purdy. These are decisions you got to make. But for the sake of this one, and I am going to go with the patented GQ and shout out to the my best ball crew, man, Coach Jeremiah, man, the custodial QB build. I'm probably going to deploy one of those right now. So Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman. And as I sit here right now, looking at the receivers, you got the running backs on the board. I'm taking a wide receiver. And I believe the receiver that I want to focus on is Terry McLaurin because I know I can do some stuff a little bit later with McLaurin. So let's load Terry McLaurin up. And I've got 3 receivers, 1 running back, and an Anthony Richardson. What I like about McLaurin is Week 17 matchup with Kyle Pitts and Drake London and all those guys. There's just some stuff I could do with Washington down the line. There'll be some Washington and Atlanta stacks and game correlation that I could play with. So Neighbors, Pittman, McLaurin, McCaffrey, A-Rich. I like how I'm feeling out of the 101 spot. Scott, you're about to be on the board. Let's talk about it.
Was there any consideration for you going Mahomes, Hollywood Brown there?
No. I'm banking on A-Rich to be the dude. I'm going custodial
Well,
QB.
I'm gonna go Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
And that's also because there are plenty of Steelers later that I can get.
Of course.
Running backs, receivers. You know, if I go the custodial QB, you know I can go Fields in the last round. So
he'll be there. He'll be there.
Yep.
And for those of y'all that I don't want to get into the theories too much right now. Scott, we've gone back and forth over this thing, this custodial QB build. You got to do it with a hammer quarterback. If you're going to do it, you've got to bet that the difference making that you're getting out of that quarterback position is truly, he's one of the guys that can truly offer that positional advantage. And that's the bet I'm making with A-Rich. And I like his playoff matchup. Denver, Tennessee, and the Giants don't scare me a ton.
Yeah, you're betting that your quarterback's going to hit your lineup a dozen times.
Yes.
You're not banking on the QBs that you're taking with the hammer quarterback to really hit your lineup much. And that's okay because you're already making that bet.
Yep.
One of the mistakes I see people make is they will go early QB. Any of the top 7 or 8 QBs, right? And then they'll take a second QB. They'll start Kyler Murray and then they'll go Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? And to me, it feels like you're kind of hoping that you're drafting them like Kyler's going to hit your lineup 9 times and T-Law's going to hit your lineup 7 times. But, right, who the hell knows they're going to be on the right weeks? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they
could
be overlapping too much. They're not good enough to go 2 QBs with those guys. Like, you almost need a third or you need a guy where that player's finishing top 6. So.
Yep. All right, you've got 2 picks. CJ Stroud, Mahomes off the board, Worthy gone. One of my favorites, Rashee Rice, is still there. I'm not going to talk about him, though. But you're about to be on the clock, Scott. 6'6", pick 66. A little bit of some omen there. 3 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end. Where you going, Lad McConkey?
I already got a tight end. I can pass on QB. It's definitely going to be receiver. I'm just looking at Addison gives me some outs later. You know what? I'm going to go Lad McConkey.
Go. I said it. I said it before you picked Lad McConkey.
I'm going to go Lad just because I know I'm going to need 10 receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know with the Chargers, there is 5 Patriots receivers and a tight end and a quarterback. Like, there's a lot of Patriots that are available. So that's an easy stack with how I'm going to build. So that's why I chose him over somebody like, Deontay Johnson, where two of his receivers are going to go early, or Keon Coleman. You take Keon Coleman there, Ray? Are you excited about the Jets? Leftover stacks at receiver? No.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I just don't.
What are you thinking here?
I don't want to say it right now.
Let me look at the board. See if I
don't want to say it right now. I don't want to say right now.
I don't blame you. I do not blame you.
But I'm looking.
This team's got 3 running backs, and he went George Kittle, so you are good. Were you thinking Kittle?
No. I was not. So right now, I'm thinking about some other games that I might be able to pair up later, and I'm thinking about number ones, or at least players that I believe are going to be their one on their team. And I like Carolina, man. I like Carolina. Tampa Bay, I can do some stuff with that a little bit later. So I'm going to take Deontay Johnson right here to add to this team. Let's add Deontay. We'll let him just like auto draft into there. Tampa Bay, 17. Arizona, 16. And then Dallas the week before that. And right now it's in that range of, it's just in a dirty range of receiver, dude. And I want some Detroit correlation. So I can go J-Mo or I can go Monty. I don't particularly want to take a running back here. I like the 4 receivers that I have. Let's hammer it up with David Montgomery. So I'm getting my San Francisco, Detroit right here with Monty, another, high volume running back. I got got an elite running back and another sort of hammer light running back in David Montgomery. I get my correlation from Detroit right there. It was either that or J-Mo, and I didn't want to take J-Mo right there. And I didn't have a lot of Pittman. I didn't have a lot of David Montgomery with Christian McCaffrey either. So there it is. I think this is my first Monty McCaffrey build, so I needed to do that.
Yeah, that's usually a blind spot of that running back range. The Kamara, Monty,
yes, it is.
Aaron Jones. I'm taking receivers almost always. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I hope Rashee Rice goes here because I am tempted.
Scott, here's the beauty of picking at the turn. I still got one. I got Deontay to add to my 4th receiver. You know what I'm saying? I got one. I didn't have to make 2 picks.
Yep. Whew.
Yeah, that would be nice if you can land him. I think you're in.
Well, I can't. He went. Yep, Barry took him, which helped me because now I can comfortably take Kyler Murray, which was my plan.
There you go.
I don't want to risk with the direction we're heading, Marvin Harrison, Puka Nacua teams, right? You got to take Kyler here. I am risking.
You don't want to risk it. You don't want to risk it. I would just take Kyler. You got McBride too, and if you wanted to late, bring some guys back. You know who the usual suspects are. You got Demarcus Robinson back there. You got Zay Jones back there. You know the suspects you have back there. Even with the Rams, I mean, a player like Blake Corum. If you wanted to take 4.
I already have the Kyron correlation.
Oh, you got Kyron. Yeah. You're good.
And I think I have Blake Corum in like. Let me check that. I check that Blake Corum rostership here.
Check that Corum. I got a lot of it too.
It's 18% and it's 40% paired with Bijan. So yeah, I am probably passing on Blake Corum because I've already
got a
made
lot
my
of
bed
Corum.
with Kyron.
Hell yeah, you do. Hell yeah, you do. All right. Who's up? Is it me?
Nope. We're waiting for the other turn.
All right.
One thing you notice in these, Ray, is the depending on where T. Higgins goes.
Okay.
I think this is one where this is a pretty sharp room. You got half these guys have badges. They are all kind of drafting with a plan thus far. That old Jamar Chase team may be sitting on that. They'll get that Burrow 2 rounds past ADP because nobody else wants them. Now we'll see if somebody goes rogue there and gets their QB2.
Hold on, Scott. Your mic, Scott. Yeah, your mic. There you go.
Oh, we good now?
Yeah. It was you were just snap, crackle, pop for a minute, but you're good. You're good.
Kicked it accidentally.
All right.
Man,
so
look at that Burrow fall, man. That
he always does. He's always falling.
This team up right here has Higgins, but he already committed to Josh Allen. So taking Burrow would be a waste of a pick. So I think the Jamar owner is very happy here. Going to snag him at.
Is he going to get him, though? That's the question.
I think he'll get him at 93 if he falls, unless he goes right here, which, again, if the person with Josh Allen takes your Joe Burrow, then, I mean, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to get him. All right, I'm up.
You're up.
This is where it starts to get gross. I can decide. Well, I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to push it one more round. We talked about this before the show, Ray. We're going to go with a fourth running back here because I got the correlation with Hollywood Brown. We're going to go Jaylen Warren as my RB4. I may be done at running back now with 4 running backs.
Yeah,
may
you like
take
you some
5,
Warren, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like you some Warren. Jordan Love. Man, I did a 4 RB build the other day, dude. I did a 4 RB build the other day, and it was all 4 like hammer running backs, and I liked it a lot. All right. Malik Neighbors, Michael Pittman, Terry McLaurin, and Deontay Johnson. All right.
Here it is. 5 seconds.
Take him.
I don't know. He
He
passed on Burrow, pushed him another round. How about that?
Okay.
Because you know what? He knows you're not taking him, right?
Yeah, I'm not.
So
no, not even a chance. Not a shot now.
That is, yeah, he's gonna end up getting him unless the team that took Cortland Sutton just comes. I
gotta switch to my board. This is the player that I just take 100% with my Christian McCaffrey so far. When in doubt, I need an elite one. I think he can do it. When in doubt, this is like auto pick for me. When in doubt is Brock Bowers. So Brock Bowers is there, which opens up the door for some Saints now. Like it opens up the door for some Saints. But right here at the turn, I want to get some a little more correlation from that Washington backfield. I'm going to take some B-Rob right here. Really don't want to mess with Singletary, so I'll take my third running back, Brian Robinson. Still need some Falcons. Philly, New Orleans. New Orleans opens up with Brock Bowers, too, as well, in Week 17. So Bowers and Brian Robinson off the board for me.
Good stuff. Did you anticipate 3 RBs through 9 rounds with CMC?
No. But with CMC, David Montgomery, and B-Rob, I'm only taking 5 max. And right now, at this point, I'm not taking any more kind of like starter level running backs. They're all going to be some hopium dart throws at the back end. And there goes, he got Burrow. He did take Burrow. And you are up.
Yeah, and this is where it gets gross because running backs are the clear value, right? I'm sitting here looking at James Conner, Javonte, Tajay Spears. I usually hammer the hell out of those guys. I'm going to go Curtis Samuel because I'm planning on taking Patriots. I already have Ladd. They play the Patriots in Week 16.
Mm-hmm.
So it just gives me a good offense, a receiver in a good offense. And as you see, it highlights the correlation now on Spike Week. Once you draft a Bill, all the Bills and the teams they're going to play light up. So
I did not anticipate a 3 QB build, man. But this range of receivers is probably the worst in the whole group. Like this pocket of receivers right now. You got Dobbs, Shakira, Mike Williams, Shaheed, Palmer, Adonai, Jacoby Myers, Jerry Jeudy. It's just nasty, dude. Look at all my stacks are down there too. All the Jahan Dodsons and Josh Downs and Ricky Pearsall's all down there. All of them down there. Nasty.
Well, you got to hope if you're in this range and you've already built for one of these receivers that you need, that everybody else that hammered receiver early is going to be hitting the running backs. That's normally what you and I are doing here.
Yes.
And here we go. People still taking receivers.
Yeah, running backs on the board. You got James Conner, Devin Singletary, Spears, Edwards, Brown. Some good
Doesn't
ones.
it make you sick in a league where you've already hammered running back to see James Conner sitting out there and it's almost 2 rounds past his ADP? I almost just want to take him with Kyler and Trey McBride and just go, nobody's going to build a 5 running back like this.
Yes. Yes.
He went. He went. Thank God they put me.
Yeah,
They
and that's the
removed
thing.
that
Like
decision from my head.
I don't want to do it, but you know, I just can't in good faith take Mike Williams over a B-Rob or any of these other guys left. I just can't do it.
No.
At what
I
point
get
do you say screw correlation? I'm just taking the player that I believe is going to receive opportunity, and you're just like, I don't give a shit about the correlation. I just need the player.
Listen, if you go hammer receiver, like I've started plenty of drafts, 7 straight receivers, and I don't always get my quarterback tight end combo, right? At that point, I could give a shit about the correlation with the running backs I'm drafted. I'm going Rico Dowdle. Is he getting touches? Cool. I'll take him because I need as many bodies as I can get.
Yes.
So,
all right. Well, you're about to be on the clock, man. You're about to be up.
Yep. Easy pick for me here.
Yeah.
I got Josh Palmer on the board. I already got Ladd. I know I'm going Patriots. Correlates perfectly. Yep. Probably means I'm not taking Quentin Johnston or DJ Chark. I don't need 3 Chargers receivers, but I've got a hefty dose of that game thus far.
Yes, sir. All right. Pick 128. Let me look at what old GQ has coming down the pipe. Ugh, I got a lot of Jacoby Myers. A lot. Josh Downs. Nah, no thank you. Not like Josh Downs, but I got Pittman. Pittman and Neighbors is Singletary still on the board. I just cannot. There's no way, dude. I can't take another running back right here, can I?
I mean, the shitty thing is you already have the A-Rich Michael Pittman, man. If there's a team to do it, it's this one. And this guy ahead of you already has 4 running backs, so he's not doing it.
Jacoby Myers went. That was the target.
Me personally, Ray, I think you got to do it, and you're just done at running back.
I'm just done. It's just 4. I had no plan to do this. Devin Singletary. Let me share my board. It's going to auto pick. I got him started up there, but there's Devin Singletary. It's purple. It's highlighted because there's the correlation. 25% with Anthony Richardson, and let's ump that. Devin Singletary, I'm not doing any more. So at this point, looking through some of the positions, tight end, I'm not doing that right now with Brock Bowers. Woods to be there much later. Josh Downs, Gabe Davis.
You just keep that orange tab highlighted. That's where we're both playing the rest of the draft.
Let's do it. Auto pick. Darnell Mooney.
Yep.
Darnell Mooney. I needed some Atlanta-Washington correlation, and I get some intrinsic value with Mooney because he plays the Raiders in 15, the Giants in 16, and the Commanders in 17. I've got Brock Bowers. I've got Commanders, and I've got Giants. So there's a little something there. There's a little something there. All right, you are on the clock, or about to be on the clock now. Round 17. Hey, about to be. I got to switch the screen.
And it's these parts of the draft where the Spike Week tool is so helpful because I don't even care about the ADP anymore. I'm simply looking at what lights up for me, and I don't even care if I like the players or don't like the players. Don't love this player. People have heard me talk about this player plenty, but I'm already in on Bijan, so let me get another piece of that Washington offense. We'll go Jahan Dotson. Collecting receivers at this point. Can
I stop you right now? You said you weren't chasing me, and I wasn't chasing you, yet we both have 1-4-5-1 builds. You did it starting off 3 straight running backs. I did it starting off with CMC and 2 receivers and a quarterback, yet we both have 1-4-5-1 builds.
Well, but I got caught with Jalen Warren staring there, and you got caught with Devin Singletary. They correlated with picks we already took, and it was hard to pass them up. And now, are you planning on taking a 5th running back? Yes or no?
I'm not. The answer is no.
Yep, same here.
The answer is no.
2-4-10-2 or a 2-4-10-3 or
yep.
And we both have A-Rich and Kyler, so we're probably not taking 3 QBs unless you choose to go with the, just play dark QBs. But it's going to be a 9 or 10 receiver build and 4 running backs. We know that.
So what I'm going to do now which I haven't done a lot of, and you're about to be on the clock here shortly, is I'm starting to look at some of these bye weeks now. I've got a lot of, I'm fucking tripled up at a lot of places. Week 14, week 11, some nasty buys there for old GQ. So 14 would be tough with McLaurin, Pittman, and A. Rich out. So I need to make sure whatever custodial or, and if I'm going 2 QB, I don't necessarily feel like I got to custodian that thing and just go god awful if I'm only going to take 2. I prefer them to be, I just don't think I'm going to get one that I really want. The Goff, Herbert, Cousins, Stafford, Watson range. Probably not getting one of those guys that I like.
Yeah.
Probably not happening. And I just don't want to have 2 week 14 bye quarterbacks. I don't want A. Rich and Drake May on bye at the same time if I've only got 2 quarterbacks. Because then that means there's going to be players down the line there also. I'm losing out right before the fantasy playoffs in Underdog.
Yep. Interesting. I heard a pod they were talking about Jared Goff's ADP and how it's too low. And this draft is a prime example of why it's so low. You know why? Because the stacks are already spoken for, probably.
Doesn't have
right?
to.
Like,
yeah.
You see him fall because he goes after Purdy, but the only team that wants Goff is probably you or
no,
the
it's
other team.
It's Laporta and Amon-Ra. It's those managers. Yeah. It's those guys. It's Laporta and Amon-Ra. Even with Monty, I'm not as, because he's not the guy that's out there catching all the passes. He'll get a few, but that's not, I'm really good on that, you know?
Yeah, and the point was that the reason Goff falls is not because he's undervalued. It's because the stacks are already spoken for. So people are like, man, I may want Trevor Lawrence. I may want Justin Herbert over him because there's just no correlation. It's not because Goff is undervalued. So I think people just need to kind of realize that when they're talking underdog values. Yes, I went Jalen Polk, which complements Ladd McConkey and Josh Palmer very well. I like that. I saw that. My Curtis Samuel pick, week 16 and 17. I am loading up.
Yeah, I saw that Jalen Polk pick. I like that a lot, man. I like that Polk pick.
And here's an underrated thing. Look at this, Ray. This part of Spike Week, you click on the game stacks week to week. Boom. I've already got 4 game stacks right there in week 17.
That's right.
So that's the goal.
That's the goal. All right. I am about to be on the clock. Both of those quarterbacks are there, Cousins and Goff. They won't make it back. I've got low Cousins. But is it a waste? Can I just take Michael Penix later? Can I just take Penix?
I think if you're assuming the narrative is going to hold, yes, I'm not taking Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't
Penix will be low owned in BBM5. That's one of the best unique quarterbacks to take, right? Cousins is not that unique for you, so I like that.
I just took Jermaine Burton, plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. Jermaine Burton, Cincinnati Bengals. Week 17, you know who they play, Scott? They play the old Denver Broncos, man. Play the old Denver Broncos.
They do.
I'm just taking 2 rookies. I'm taking 2 rookies, and I also have the Indianapolis Colts who play against the Denver Broncos as well. So I went Jermaine Burton, Troy Franklin. I'm not taking another running back, so I didn't look there. I'm not touching quarterback right now. I didn't want to take Adam Thielen when I have Deontay Johnson, 2 receivers on the same team like that, and a low pass volume offense. I just shot for some instant correlation. I got the 2 guys that I wanted from those teams, the 3rd receiver and Cincy, I hope, and maybe a hit or miss home run threat, who also, Troy Franklin, if you see on the Spike Week tool, plays Indy in week 15 and Cincinnati in week 17. So again, it's not great, but there is some correlation there with Franklin and Burton. You are up.
We'll see what this person does, and perfect. So I am going to hammer another receiver, top of the queue, but correlation with my Hollywood Brown already. We're going to go Roman Wilson.
And see, I saw him there, but I have no there was just no point. Like I would love to take Roman Wilson, but there was no point for me to take Roman Wilson. I needed to find some sort of in-game correlation for week 17. That's why I pivoted to like just a small stack. I'm not going to be overweight Broncos or Bengals at this point, but I kind of like this little skinny stack, this little just mini stack right here, little mini game stack.
Yeah. And I'm looking at correlation that I've not yet captured. Jonathan Taylor. So we got the Giants. Curtis Samuel. I have not captured any week 17 correlation with the Jets. So even though I am not a fan of Malachi Corley, he continues to sit there. And he's going to be on the radar, that's for sure.
Ooh.
When do you prioritize getting your second tight end, knowing you already have one? Because a lot of times I like to correlate my second tight end, especially if my first one is not correlated, which you do not have a stack with your first.
I do not.
Are you willing to reach on your second tight end to get the right one versus just getting a random one? Because tight ends are just random. A lot of times when you get to this point, it is Juwan Johnson goes after this guy, or in the next draft he goes tight end 17, just completely random.
I mean, all of my tight ends are so far down the scroll down board. I mean, honestly, man, Zach Ertz is way down there if I wanted to take a shot on him. I'll just tell you this, Scott, and I know it doesn't overlap with anything that you want to do. I've kind of liked taking Taysom Hill. I don't know if he's a quarterback or a tight end or a running back, but he's designated as a QB. But he's probably
a QB on Underdog this year, so
I know. How does that work? I mean, if he runs it in, that's a rushing touchdown. If he's catching it,
he gets the fantasy points. The scoring tells him. It doesn't matter if the position he's doing it on the field is not what he's on.
So I'm actually thinking about, man, what I'm thinking is
Taysom Hill versus Brock Bowers heads up in week 17.
I am thinking about a Taysom Hill build. Like it's a guy that I like to take, and he's available late. But there's correlation that I can get with New Orleans. There's so many just late round dart throws you can throw at the Saints. You got the A.T. Perrys, the Juwan Johnsons. I think Kendre's gone, but I'm not even looking at running back right now. So I think I'm just I'm a hold tight. I'm a hold tight right now. There's just no tight end worth me pushing it right now at this point.
Ooh, got sniped on that Malachi Corley.
You did get sniped. You shouldn't have talked about him. Somebody's watching.
That's the team that has Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Khalil Shakir, Mike Williams already. So they are heavily invested in that game.
Cole Kmet, what a save for you that you didn't have to take him.
I'm good. I'm going to double stack it up here. We're going to go Michael Wilson since I'm in on the Cardinals.
I like it. Why Mike Wilson over Zay Jones?
Zay Jones is still in the queue. I have no qualms. I don't have Marv, so I have no qualms taking the wide receiver 2 and 3.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yep, you don't have Marv, so you're good there.
Now, if you had Marv, I'm not taking 3, right? No. I'm already betting on Marv to get 150 targets. But it means Michael Wilson and Zay Jones are probably hurting each other, right?
That's correct. That is correct, my friend. I've got a plan, Scott.
Whenever you've said that to me in the past, it's turned into a new show or a new tool.
No. It's not gonna. No. We're not doing that.
Okay.
We're not doing that. I've got a
Ben Sinnott, had he fallen?
Honestly, I've let off the Ben Sinnott gas, especially in round 14. Ertz is gonna be on the field, dude. He's going to be on the field. I've pumped the brakes on the Ben Sinnott gas, and I'm not going to take Juwan Johnson here. I'm looking at receivers. All that matters is correlation. That's all that matters for me right now. So I'm scrolling the F down a little bit. I'm going past the point where people probably are looking at these guys and they're taking that Wan'Dale's gone. I'm good on Marvin Mims. I've got Troy Franklin. I don't want a lot of that. I've got Terry McLaurin, so I'll pass on Luke McCaffrey here. I'm not taking a tight end yet, so I'm going to continue to scroll down. And I like this name down here for the game that we are playing. Rondale Moore from the Atlanta Falcons. I've got 2 of them. You had just talked about this with you weren't opposed to Zay Jones and a Michael Wilson. What's Rondell Moore in Atlanta? The hell if I know. But I needed some correlation with Washington, and he correlates with the Giants as well as the Raiders, which we've talked about. And there are a couple of other players a little bit later that I can take. Right now, this is just get guy mode. Get a player that I like. Get a player that I think is all right, that can be fed some targets. Oh, shit. I put Pop. It happened earlier than I wanted. I put Pop in the queue.
You got that Taysom Hill.
It auto Taysom Hill. It auto Taysom Hill. I put Pop in the queue. It auto Taysom Hill, but I'm fine with it. At this point, I really don't care about ADP, and I got Taysom Hill. There goes my Bauer stack with Taysom Hill, and I'm just letting you know I am taking another quarterback, and it will be custodial build. But watch this, Scott. I like who I'm going to get with this custodial build QB. I did not mean to take Taysom there. I was going to take him much later, probably like round 17, but fuck it. It saved me from Demario Douglas, who was uncorrelated. And Luke McCaffrey, who I just wasn't going to take with Terry McLaurin. You are up.
Well, yeah, and this is beautiful. Look at this correlation right here between, well, you're on your screen, but I'm going to lead.
I'm on yours. I'm on your stream. It's
No,
yours.
you're on mine. Oh, yeah, you are.
Yeah,
You are.
I'm on yours.
I'm going to go. Got enough Patriots and Chargers. We're going with your old boy, Demarcus Robinson. I don't have Kupp. I don't have Puka.
Goes Juwan. Said he had to get me. Snipe me for that Juwan. I am okay. You're up next, right? Like you're coming up before I do.
I'll be up next. Yep. I have 9 receivers thus far.
Yes, you are 1491. I am at a kind of like a 14811 with Taysom Hill, who is not designated really anything at all. Passing on Derek Carr, I'm good on that. Yeah, Taysom Hill shouldn't even have a positional designation. He's just all over the place. Scott, who's going to be the tight end in Cincinnati this year? Is it going to be Gesicki?
Gesicki. He's criminally underdrafted, and it's not because he's good. It's because he's going to be the tight end. He's going to play the most snaps. He's going to run the most routes. It's not going to be Eric All.
No.
It's not going to be Tanner Hudson or.
Okay. If he's healthy, he's the tight. If he's healthy, he'll be out there to run some routes.
Oh, and he's not a tight end, but it doesn't matter. It's the kind of offense you just want a piece. You know what I mean?
Correct.
He doesn't need to be a 80% snap guy. He doesn't need to be the top 2 target on the team. Like there's a reason he's tight end 27.
So my plan is to get some Mike Gesicki, to go with Jermaine Burton. I want some ancillary pieces of that Cincinnati offense, Scott.
I love that.
And then you know who my third quarterback or quote-unquote second quarterback will be?
Riddle me.
Jake Browning, custodial, round 18.
Oh,
Jake Browning.
Yeah.
That was the plan. So when you were like, that was the plan, it was I wasn't gonna correlate with Juwan Johnson. I was good on that one. I was gonna do it with Taysom Hill later, but it was gonna be Taysom Hill, Jake Browning. And I think I'll still accomplish both.
Well, this board's
gotta get a little
nice.
creative.
You do. I'm gonna do it too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it too. I'm gonna go 3 QBs, and they're not gonna be 2 that this is my last skill player pick.
Yes,
I'm
it
gonna
is.
pass on Pop Douglas. I already have Jalen Polk.
Yes,
I'm gonna pass on Zay Jones. I already have Michael Wilson and Trey McBride.
Okay. I
need
like
a second
it.
tight end. I was screaming for that Malachi Corley, but I got sniped. But we have Tyler Conklin. The Rams and the Bills.
Nice.
Perfect to complement.
Nice. That is very nice. Well done right there. There goes that Likely. You know I love me some Likely. I'm really, really hoping my guy Gesicki, I hope I do not get sniped for this Gesicki. I really want a piece of the Cincy offense, and I really want a custodian QB this thing with Jake Browning, who was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL when he took over for Joe Burrow, who has had, for the past 2 years, he hasn't finished the season. I'm not wishing for that. I don't believe that's going to happen, but
Well,
You
he
know?
had the ACL injury, and then he had this injury. But I mean, it's a
The
legitimate.
ACL was in 21. Did he 21, 22 he finished it. Last year he was
22
hurt. So
finish. It's
yeah,
just been every
two
yeah.
out of 3 seasons. ACL and then the whatever was up with his calf to start the season. Deshaun Watson, round 16.
I don't
nice.
understand that team, right?
Just
If Deshaun
nice.
Watson,
I
they
don't
have
get-
Burrow, Herbert, Mayfield, and Watson.
Maybe that
Is
and
that
that's
too much in a one QB?
Come on, man. What do y'all think?
He was 30 picks past his ADP, but I mean,
Just had to take him.
there's too many. Yep, you're good to go, man.
Tyrone Tracy. Let's do it.
You can go Paul Douglas and Mike Gesicki, right? You wanted Paul Douglas last time, and he's still freaking there.
I sure did. Mike Gesicki is up first. So I've got him in queue at the top of the queue. So he will come off the board. Pop is there. Zay is there. Tolbert is there. You know what I need, though? I've got no Tampa Bay. I've got an uncorrelated Deontay Johnson, and I haven't taken this player in a while, man.
I know who it
is. He's way down the board.
Trey Palmer, right?
Trey Palmer. And he's way down the board. And I've got no correlation. Everyone thinks that it's going to be McMillan. Trey Palmer. Fire him up.
Talk about football. Why? Because I tend to believe that McMillan has a very specific role, and it probably conflicts a little more with Godwin than I want to bet that he's going to produce. Where you've said before, I mean, Palmer had a role last year with Evans and Godwin. He's probably going to have the same role, and unless McMillan shows he's better at that Palmer role than Palmer,
right? Who already had the role. I would just not. Listen, I'm just not taking Jalen McMillan year one over a guy who had that role and that skill set pretty much on lock. He was on the field 90% of the time last year in 3 wide receiver sets. You're up.
Yep.
You are up.
I am up.
Mm-hmm.
I
got 2 picks left.
Man, Ray. Aaron Rodgers is sitting there.
Take him, dude.
I have 0 Aaron Rodgers.
Take him.
And I just drafted Tyler freaking Conklin.
Take him.
I got to do it,
right? Take him. Yeah. I mean, take him. Like, that's fine for me. Like, just take him. Just take him.
His ADP's 158. And he's there at 199. I mean, that was not in the plans. This was a custodial QB team where I was going to go Justin Fields and another Jacoby Brissett or something like that, and Aaron Rodgers. So we are pivoting off of a third QB now with Rodgers and Kyler Murray.
I need to talk
another piece.
I need to talk to you about my final QB pick.
Talk through it. I already got my pick ready, so we're good to go.
It's either Joe Flacco or Jake Browning. And I feel like it needs to be as much as I want Jake Browning.
It's got to be Flacco.
It's got to be Flacco. Because of the Taysom Hill pick. Had I not gone Taysom Hill and just said I'm going to go Browning and then done something else to correlate New Orleans with Vegas. But if A-Rich goes down and I'm relying on Taysom Hill and Jake Browning to get me the rest of the way, my team won't make it. It won't make it. It won't make it.
What Ray wants is A-Rich to get through 16 weeks. And then week 17, it's Flacco, but his team is still alive. And he has only Flacco in the entire final round.
Dude, how much Flacco do you think has been up? I mean, can't be a lot of Flacco, right? There just can't. And I am not in favor.
Because most people would tell you it's dumb to handcuff. But in your situation, for what you're trying to do, it's actually not. It's actually not. You know what I mean?
It's really A-Rich. I've got a 1 QB build. Literally. That's what it is. It's A-Rich. Because Taysom Hill's not a QB. He's designated as that, but, dude, it's really Anthony Richardson. That's it. Scott, I really would love to have Browning, but I just...
No, you can't do it.
I can't do it, man.
Dead if A-Rich even misses 1 game, 2 games, you know?
Yes. It's true. All right, who do you got loaded up for your final pick? Who do you have?
I got a buku of options. I could go DJ Chark. I don't want another Chargers receiver. I could go Greg Dortch. I don't want another Cardinals receiver. Kendrick Bourne. I don't need another Patriots receiver.
No.
Chase Claypool is interesting there because I just went
telling
Rodgers.
you. Do it.
It's here's the other option. I got Jonathan Taylor. Do I go Darius Slayton or Jalen Hyatt?
5, 4. Make the call.
Chase Claypool. I'm going Chase Claypool because I am invested in that Buffalo. I'm invested in that Buffalo Jets game now. So I got 2 Buffalo receivers along with Rodgers and Conklin. So there we go.
I like it, dude. There goes Zach Ertz. Barry took Ertz. I guarantee you he thought I was going to go late round Zach Ertz. Guarantee you. But I kind of
should have known you got to go another QB. You should have known.
Isn't it kind of funny that I've got Taysom Hill was kind of like a quarterback and a tight end? And I've got 2 tight ends, but with Hill, you kind of have 3. And you kind of have an extra quarterback and an extra running. He is the only utility player in the NFL right now. And we don't believe it year in and year out, and it just happens. Like, it just happens. Mm-hmm. And you're only banking on like those few Taysom Hill games where he does it. You know what I mean? Where he does it. So, Barry, good gamesmanship.
I know you're QB3, Ray. You going Flacco?
Yeah.
Any consideration with Bo Nix since you got Burton, Gesicki, and Troy Franklin?
Is Bo Nix still there? And I got Cincy. He's got Indianapolis in week 15. I didn't even consider Nix. I think that's a better play than Flacco. It gives me another option weekly.
Yes. I agree with you.
Gives me a better option weekly. There it is. Done.
This was a fun one, man. We did not go into it saying we're going to build this.
No.
I went a 2-4-10-2 team. I mean,
no, we did not plan that. This was a fun one, man. You want to read your team off for everybody? Just read it off one time, man.
So I went a 2-4-10-2 team with Kyler and Aaron Rodgers. Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams ripped 3 straight running backs, and then Jalen Warren. So only 4 RBs. Go big or go home. 10 receivers: Hollywood Brown, Ladd McConkey, Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer, Jahan Dotson, Jalen Polk, Roman Wilson, Michael Wilson, Demarcus Robinson, and Chase Claypool. So I hope I can just squeeze together, what do we call it, replacement value at receiver all year, you know?
Yeah.
Give me some weekly, give me 1 or 2 of those guys to hit for, 18 points per game or whatever weekly, and I should be fine. And then 2 tight ends, Trey McBride and Tyler Conklin. I stacked both quarterbacks and both tight ends, which I love doing. Kyler and Rodgers with Conklin and McBride. Correlated every single other pick, and I believe I correlated every player on my team other than Jonathan Taylor. So I love this team, Ray. Very unique. You're not going to see a lot of 2-4-2 builds.
Look at that. And you love it, and you started off 3 quarterbacks. I also believe I had Christian McCaffrey, Malik Neighbors, Michael Pittman, A. Rich, Terry McLaurin, Deontay Johnson, David Montgomery, Brock Bowers, Brian Robinson, Devin Singletary, Darnell Mooney, Jermaine Burton, Troy Franklin, Rondell Moore, Taysom Hill, Mike Gesicki, Trey Palmer, and Bo Nix. Every single player that I picked is correlated. Every single one. Full correlation, and that's what I'm looking for. Everybody plays everybody in Week 17, and I was also able to get some Week 16, Week 15. Hopefully they're humming by playoff time, pairings and game stacks. So, like 100% correlated. That's sort of what I'm trying to aim for every time I do one of these, Scott. I'm happy with this a lot. Like, out of the 101 spot, I'm very happy. I'm sure your plan will not be to start 3 straight running backs, but to go 3 straight, land McBride, get you Hollywood, still be able to pick up Kyler, Jalen Warren, get some Bills, late Jets stack with those Bills guys. Jalen Polk, you focused on a New England team that not a lot of people want parts of that game. I think you did a hell of a job. And then you round that thing out with Chase Claypool. You know, there's not going to be a lot of Claypools, at least now. And if he does anything over the preseason period, people are going to steam him up. I like what you did out of the middle of the draft. And I don't like picking there, man. I don't like picking at 7. Because I feel like I got to take Puka, and then I'm just trying to do Rams-Cardinals like I've done a million times. So good exercise to stretch you, going with the running backs like this.
Yeah, and it's funny how when you pick certain games, the 2 key picks, Ray. Remember when I went Ladd McConkey and there was a bunch of receivers on the board, right? That opened me up for the Patriots and the Chargers, right?
It did.
Remember when I took Curtis Samuel? I could have gone Rashid Shaheed. I could have gone Jerry Jeudy, but I went Curtis Samuel. What do you know? Aaron Rodgers, Tyler Conklin fall right into my lap. And I was planning on just going Curtis Samuel's on a good team. Don't really care if I correlate. Boom, I end up with the Jets stack that I never thought I would have. So sometimes those tiebreakers, it's tough to do in live drafts because you're under the gun. But just knowing in the back of your mind the schedule, how easy or hard it is to correlate players later, sometimes can be the best tiebreaker when you're choosing between two players on the clock.
100%, dude. This was honestly, man, if I had to grade this one out, I think I like, regardless of who thinks won this one or not, I think for you to go 4 straight non-wide receivers and end up with the build that you did, I think you might have edged me on this one. I really like the team that I have. I like this team a lot. And I think there's some more stuff I want to play with the 4 RBs, especially if you get 4 hammer running backs. But I think you might have got me on this one, man. I like what you were able to pull off with going 3 straight running backs. And if your bet is right, Scott, and Bijan is a top 5, top 2 difference maker, JT's a top 10 guy, Kyron Williams is another top 10 guy, McBride is a top 3, top 4 tight end, it's going to be a tough team to put out because all you really need at that point is Hollywood spikes, some lad security. Can you get some Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer spikes, maybe one of those rookies? I think you're in good shape, man.
Yeah, it's different. And I think the key is I'm glad I did it this way because it's totally different than what I've done with 80% of my teams.
Yeah.
It's different. And that's going to be huge when we get into the second part of draft season where it's like 50 plus drafts. I think I'm at 42 BBMs now.
I'm at 34. I took a break. 34.
You know how many of them, though, are hammer receiver, load up on
everyone.
Chase Brown, Zach Moss. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
20 teams are built that way. I'm like, it is nice every once in a while to just say, I'm doing something different. Period.
Yes. There it is. And that's the theme of the show. Something different. We did another one. This is the 3rd one. Scott, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you on this one. I think you got me on this one. Good stuff, my friend. But y'all let us know in the comments who y'all think won. ALLGAS. Use the promo code ALLGAS. Get up to $250 in bonus cash on Underdog. Get in, man. We're doing these day and night in the Discord. Go to patreon.com/ALLGAS. Make sure y'all wake y'all asses up in the morning with me and Jay Rich. You think you know ball. Get in there. It's going to be a really dope show. Underdog Fantasy has challenged old GQ. So we're going to put this thing together. This is going to be dope. And then as Scott said, make sure you're tapped in to Destination Dynasty tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6 a.m. on your podcast feeds, wherever you listen to stuff, Spotify, Google, Apple, all of that. No Destination Chill. Next week, I will be out on vacation. So Scott and I will be returning on the 23rd, I think, Scott? 23rd, 24th? 23rd that morning. So 1 week off, Destination Chill. That's all right. We'll be back on the 23rd or 4th, whatever it was he just told me, and I literally have forgotten. So y'all take it easy. Stay tapped in, stay locked in, and be chill, y'all. We out of this thing. Peace.